You are now tuned in to Metamorphosis. The power to change. Your source for inspiration, motivation, transformation, and change. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Metamorphosis, the power to change. It's yours truly, Dave, the DJ, and we've got a very, very special show. And I don't know why I'm nervous, man. I'm like super nervous right now because I'm here. I got a very special guest, probably the most special guest. No shade on anybody who's ever been on the show or who will ever be on the show coming. But I got my best friend. That's right. Go best friend.
That's my best friend. You better.
I got my wife. That's right. In the building. Queen Dalez, Lynn, settle.
Ew.
We didn't drop the Bradshaw, y'all.
I was going to add it, but then I was like, nah, he might kill me.
So this is going to be a very, very special edition of Metamorphosis, the power to change. And honestly, in my eyes, I don't care who walks this planet. There's nobody else who embodies what this book and what this message is all about. That's right. When we're talking about change and transformation, babe.
I have to remember something.
I
have to remember that you are on a radio show. So because of that, they can't see my facial expression.
I'm trying not to look at you because every time I look at you,
I'm doing something. Like I'm constantly doing something. So, okay, I'm going to keep my facial expressions to a minimum. But yes, I do believe that I do embody change in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Good change, right?
Of course.
Cool,
absolutely,
cool.
Man. I mean, we've been rocking together we've been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
Together 12.
Been together for 12?
Woo.
See, I only remember the important dates. Like the day we
No,
got
the
married.
first 2 years was important. You got to get through them.
Look, ladies, let me tell y'all something. I was at a church the other day and I told everybody, I was like, look, there came a point in our relationship where you looked me in the eyes, or we might have been on the phone, I don't know, but you basically told me you were done.
Yeah.
And you was like, look, I'm through. Like, what was that all about? Like, why were you gonna leave me?
Don't put me on the spot like that, bro. So, little backstory. It wasn't that I was going to leave you. It was more so because I felt like you weren't ready to be somebody's man. Well, no, take that back. You weren't ready to be my man. Somebody else might have dealt with all of that, but
Somebody else might have taken.
Yeah, took my cookie. But I got the better cookie.
But look, I mean, after that, I mean, the moment you told me we was done, literally less than 24 hours, I was gainfully employed. Well, I won't say gainfully because it's not like I was balling, but...
No, yeah, but I think it was how I said it. I think it was because I was like so shocked by some of the things I was hearing that was going on. Like, if you don't mind me sharing, we are talking about change, so
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna take it there. I ain't gonna go too far.
Come on,
but,
we can go. Come on.
We were talking about. I think one day you and I were having a conversation, and I was just kind of, prying a little bit. This is before we even talked about marriage, but this is how important, like, knowing who your significant other is going to be and God sending them. Because I remember just being like, so, how much your car note? Like, what you pay for your car note? We were just kind of casually talking. I wasn't being nosy, but I think we were talking, and you told me how much it was. But first you were like, I can't remember. I got to find out. And I'm like, find out. And some kind of way I found out your grandmother at the time, God rest Grandma Bernie's little soul. I found out that she was paying the car note. And then I found out
she was holding me down.
Yeah, she was holding you down. And then I found out that, like, she was paying cell phone bills for, like, 5 or 6 different members in the family. And every time we would go places to eat, I would notice she was the one pulling out her credit card. So I was like, what's really good? This 80-year-old sweetest lady I've ever met is taking care of all these grown folk. I'm like, who taking care of her? So that kind of plagued me a little bit. And I was just taken aback at that time. And I may or may not have, gone about it the right way. But I think for us, it was the right way because a lot of people will talk about it and say, well, I'm going to break up with him, or I can't be with nobody that's a, quote, scrub. But not that you were a scrub. I just saw so much potential in you, and I was just like, he's not living up to his potential. And I feel like I'm one more person in his life that is allowing him to be a bum. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't allow myself to participate in this downward spiral that I was, noticing. So I did what I had to do. It wasn't easy. Take that back. I was gonna lie and say it wasn't easy. It was so hard. No, it really was.
Yeah.
I was like, No, I can't do this.
Hey, well, I'm glad you couldn't do it because it forced me to do it. Whatever that was. I mean, I guess I just wanted you that bad, you know?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
and I was willing
awesome.
to do whatever it took to make sure she ain't get away. But needless to say, 10 years later, she's still here.
Yes, it's been a ride, but it's been fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's been fun.
Well, I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about.
Okay, and I'm ready.
And I'm sure we talk about it all the time, but you know, folks see you on IG killing the game, looking flawless. I mean, she fine, y'all.
I try.
I'm just saying,
not, but I try. Yeah.
She is fly.
Thank
you. You know, but tell me a little bit, because you just lost some major weight.
Yeah.
And we talking about pounds. Yeah. Can you feel like sharing how much weight you've lost?
Man, I've lost a lot of weight, not just in pounds, but mentally, emotionally. I know we're going to get to all that good juice, but I've lost a little bit over 100 pounds. And I say a little bit over because I'm at this place now where I kind of took the scale away, so I kind of won't get distracted by, you know, the number on the scale. But last time I checked, it was like 103, 104 pounds
Ooh,
down. Yeah.
You hit that 100.
Yeah, I hit that 100,
that 100 mark.
It's crazy. So yeah, I lost all of that weight, and
yeah, I know that she just said that like it was nothing, right? Like
because I thought that I was going to, every time I say it, I thought I was going to like do a church shout and start dancing because I would be so like, proud of myself. Yeah, you know, like a church clap and everything. But I'm realizing like because that number is not the end of my journey, I'm far from done. Yeah. So it was a huge deal that first day. I walked around like beaming, and then day 2 was like, okay, let's go to work because I still have more to go. I have, you know, a goal, and I don't really want to say the goal number because it might change, you know, as I'm working out. And shout out to my trainer, LaRon White.
Yeah, I got to give him props too.
He be killing me.
Appreciate you for killing my wife.
Yeah, killing me. But yeah, he and I discussed this the other day. He was like, what your goal weight is, it's not going to look like your goal anymore because you're changing and you're shifting and we're working hard. So, yeah.
Man, I definitely want to find out what the routine looks like, what the grind is like. But before we get into like the nitty gritty stuff, I really want to know, how did you get to that point? Like, you know, you don't necessarily have to share. If
what you mean, how I get fat?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like, what point?
Come on, you know, I can't say it. You know what I'm saying?
you know, you could tell me, but.
So, like, just let us know, like, what led you to that place? Because I know personally it was a very dark place. Yeah. But, you know, also physically, like, how did you get there?
You know what? I really don't even know the one, you know, thing that spiraled out of control for me to get to that place of being over 300 pounds, which is where I was. I can just say a lot of people will look at me and ask all the time, you know, we have, obviously you and I know we have 4 kids, but to the listener, just in case they didn't know, we have 4 kids together, 9-year-old, 5-year-old, and twin 1-year-olds. And a lot of people would assume that the weight came from, you know, when the 9 and 5-year-olds were first born. They would always ask me, oh, is it, you know, that pregnancy weight or is it the baby weight? And I was like, no, you know, with both of those pregnancies, like you already know, Dave, like I lost, you know, I think 17 with Kendall, our first, and then with Dylan, I lost like 12 pounds during the pregnancy. And this is like when I go to the doctor in my 38-week appointment, you know, I'm down 17 pounds. And they're like, what? So it wasn't because of pregnancy. Honestly, it was just life. Man. You know, life happens. And truth be told, when life happened for me, I just didn't put the fork down. Like life went on and my fork was going on too. You know, like I would joke about the weight and I would joke about, you know, how I got there. And
I used to hate you joking about the weight. I'd be like, man, stop talking about my wife. Like,
but you know what?
You talking about
it wasn't from a negative, nasty place. Like, you know me, I'm the hardest person on myself. So for me, it was just all fun and games. I do get where you were coming from, but you know, like I meant the jokes, like they were funny to me, you know, but because, you know, I'm no stick now, so I still joke about myself because I don't take certain things too serious. Now you talk about me, it's going down. Yeah. But like just life, you know. And then I became a stay-at-home mom after going to college and having a degree plan and path and knowing what I wanted. I had a job, and all of a sudden, I won't say I lost all of that because it wasn't taken from me. I gave all of that up. Yeah. For Kendall and for you. so that you could, provide for us. And at the time, I mean, if you want to call it providing, you can. But I mean, we weren't making anything. So the stress of seeing you stressed and me being stressed, a new wife, new mom, most people don't know that she was actually doing our first wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
So having a brand new baby, a brand new husband, brand new everything. And then coming from what I knew, I literally went from my parents' house, couple years in the dorm, but really just my parents' house straight to your house.
Yeah. And I mean, what was that dynamic like? Because I mean, literally, I joke around about Dr. B, your dad, all the time. And I'm like, man, Dr. B, you had to have been crazy to let me marry your daughter in the condition that I was in, not making, I mean, it's not like, it's not all about money, but I mean, literally, I couldn't have provided for myself,
right,
much less a family.
Right.
And, he always gives me that very spiritual answer. He's like, hey, I saw it in you. And
I agree with him. I totally agree with him because I saw stuff in you too. And that's what prompted me to continue to stay with you, even when you were trying to find your way, and even when it felt like everybody around you who had supported your journey of becoming this man, like you went into manhood alone,
Yeah,
and
true.
So your dad wasn't available because he was going through his struggles, of incarceration and things like that. As much as he loved you, he couldn't really just demonstrate what manhood was for you. And obviously coming from a single parent home, we know now that mothers cannot be fathers. As good as a job as a mother as I feel like I am doing right now, and I know I could do better. Of course, we all could. I have 3 sons. I know I'll never be a father for them.
Yeah.
So, my father, and I talk about this all the time, Daddy and I talk about the potential that he saw, because it wasn't just potential, it was there. You just needed somebody or something. And I feel like the Holy Spirit, of course, with the help of both of my parents, really, especially my mom, just showing you. Shout out to
Mama B.
Yeah, shout out to Mommy. Like, for showing you what a godly husband is supposed to look like.
That's so cool you mentioned that too, because the duality and the dynamic of that relationship, your mom and your dad, who ultimately became like my mom and my dad. Mm-hmm. Dr. B was always the visionary. Mm-hmm. He could always see the potential.
Right.
He could always say, hey, Dave, you can do it.
Right.
Dream big, ambitions, aspirations. But Mama was like the here and now, the practicality.
What can you bring to the table?
Right now.
Yes.
And so having both of those dynamics in your head, like, really helped, our dreams to actually come to pass.
The amazing part about that is that I share both of their middle names. And so my name, Del Lynn, is both of my parents' middle names put together. And I feel like I'm really a good mesh of both of them, because I do see the potential in you, but I'm always challenging you. Like, okay, what are you going to do with this potential?
The challenge is real, y'all.
Yeah, it is. You got to.
Even when she's not talking, like, I hear that voice in the back of my head, like,
ooh, I'm getting to him. That's what I'm talking about.
Trust me, y'all. The challenge is real. So everybody knows, I say it all the time, but for those of you who don't know, I would be absolutely nothing without this lady. But anyway, man, we kind of got off track a little bit, as far as.
But that's what we do. We just be talking.
It is what it is. We talked about how you kind of got to this place of being overweight, but how did that affect you mentally? Because I'm sure that was like, maybe was it the mental that got you there, or was it the overweight that got you into a mental state of depravity, or was it both? Or how did that work?
Well, it started with being back in high school. I kind of dealt with a little bit of anxiety and depression. Didn't really know it was depression. It was kind of called out to be she's just going through a phase type thing, she's just a teenager, but I didn't realize how bad I was hurting, because I was a big songwriter in high school. So I would write songs, and sometimes when I would look back on them, you're like, wow, these are real deep, because the pain was real. Just dealing with anxiety and depression. And when you're in high school and you're not overweight, and then you go to college and you're still not overweight, but the freshman 15 is more like freshman 50. And I remember going through emails with you. Remember the other day we were looking at old emails, and I remember being like, hey, Dave, I've gained like 40 pounds. And then next thing I know, the 40 turned into 50, and the 50 turned into 100. And then the next thing I know, it was like 140-pound difference from when I was in my senior year in high school. And I know most people are like, well, nobody weighs what they weigh in high school. But to be 22, 23, new mom and be 100, pounds over what you used to weigh, that was huge for me. So it definitely took effect mentally, even more so. The depression really spun out of control, and the anxiety.
And I'm sure, postpartum, after
man,
having
yeah.
a kid, played a big role.
Yes, definitely.
Being so young and not having the resources to really,
And truth be told, now I have amazing friends and family. I think God had to allow me to be alone. But if I'm just being honest, I didn't really have friends then. There was really nobody that I could talk to. Everybody was doing their own thing. Everybody was living their own lives, and nobody was married.
Yeah,
some of my friends,
I was gonna say, man, we were like the only ones.
Yeah, 2021,
married. Not to mention having kids. I was talking to one of my boys the other day, and we both the same age, right? We went to high school together. We both 30, 31. But he's single or getting ready to get married, no kids. And here we are married for 10 years.
Yeah.
We hit the decade mark. We got 4 kids.
Yep.
And he was like, bro, you can no longer say you're my age. I'm like, what you mean, bro? We 30. He was like, no, you like 30 in dog years. Like,
oh God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm gracefully 30 and I will be 31 in a few weeks, but no, I will forever dog my tail. Like, no, sir.
But you're right though, man.
But yeah.
In at that stage in our lives, we were on a whole different path.
Definitely.
So everybody else they were either pursuing their college careers,
partying, living it up,
killing it, just stunting.
And we both had kind of came together and just made this agreement. We were just like, we're done with the fast life, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, not too much. Can't drive too fast when you're only 19, 20. But we were just like, we don't want to play any games.
I was speeding every now and then.
So you like to think, but we always talk about that. You and I, we talk about how when we got together, we were just like, this is what I want, and we both, especially me, I knew what I wanted probably before you even knew how to say your name or spell your name. I knew,
man.
Like my mother could attest to that. As a child, I was always really strong and very, I wouldn't even say stubborn. I just knew what I wanted, and I had goals and dreams and aspirations. And I think the weight came on because I was slipping away from those goals and dreams and aspirations. You and I went to a wedding recently, and we ran into one of the groomsmen who was a groomsman with you. And he goes, after hearing me talk, I don't know if you remember Adam saying, how someone so determined and with such a good head on their shoulders gets to that place of despair. How did you get there? And I was just like, that's where the depression came from, because I had such a good head on my shoulders. I knew what I wanted. I knew where I wanted to go. So to get to this place, it's like, how in the world did I get here? So it's like being in a pit and you're trying to pull up, get yourself out every day. And you're like, I can't get myself out because I don't even know how I got here.
Right. And then the moment you start to think about it, you hear a baby crying.
Yeah.
Or you feel like you have to go cook dinner, or these responsibilities pop up.
And some days I couldn't even do those responsibilities because I was in such a dark place. Thank God for you. You were able to do the things that I was not able to do for a couple of years, not like months, but for a couple of years into the marriage. Like, you were doing my job, your job, whatever it is that it took to keep the family going. It was all on you, because I couldn't even some days get out of bed. Some days I couldn't, sit my head up without tears rolling down my face. My daughter, being 2-3 years old, I'm so sure she doesn't remember this, and thank God she doesn't. But she used to always pray over me, pray for me, pray with me. She used to comfort me. No little kid needs to be seeing their mommy laying in the bed crying. But I had to go through that season and period in my life to get, where I'm at now. So I don't despise those beginnings. I really don't.
No, absolutely. And see, here's the thing. I know, because I was there, and I've seen you try every single workout routine. I've experienced you try every single diet you can imagine, from Weight Watchers.
We spent money.
Yeah, wow,
quick
man,
weight loss,
crazy money.
Atkins,
and it was the Atkins, and it wasn't like spending money and we're expecting this magical pill to take effect. Like, you actually put in work too. Yeah. You would hit the parks and hit the gym, and you would run. I remember you buying one of them silver sweatsuits.
Man, I gotta find it because I need it for tomorrow's run.
Like,
but
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but I look more like a silver Michelin man, like, because I was a little roly.
See, she could say it, y'all.
Yeah. But you laugh.
But you did all that. And you would lose maybe like 5 pounds, 10 pounds.
I think the most I've ever lost on my own was like 24.
Yeah.
So,
okay, cool. So I'm glad you said that. On your own. Now, you did something that was very dramatic. Twice actually. So
What, marry you? I'm just playing.
that was the best decision she ever made. No. Speaking of that, no, I'm just playing. But no, tell me, as you continue to progress through your journey, because I mean, you were determined to get the weight off.
Yeah.
It took a long time, and ultimately, what was your next step in that journey when you weren't able to kind of like get the weight off on your own?
So I'm a big believer in perseverance. It's really hard to persevere, but I remember right after you and I got married, I think we had already had Kendall, and I went to the doctor to True Results to go and investigate the lap band procedure. Heard a lot about it. And I wanted to know more information. And at that time, they told me, now get this, I was like 260 pounds, I want to say. They told me at the time, now I know things have changed then, but they told me that my BMI wasn't high enough to get the surgery. So I left discouraged and devastated. A couple years later, I got a little bit bigger, was like 282, went back to True Results, and they told me that the insurance wouldn't cover it, so I would have to be responsible for paying it. And I got even more discouraged because we had bills like just, I mean,
it wasn't a cheap surgery.
No, and not only that, like we literally were barely getting by, at that time. And so the final straw for me to really dedicate myself, and I knew people that had the procedure and they were really successful, and honestly they didn't really work out, they really didn't change their diet, they just ate a small portion.
Let me tell y'all something, like there isn't a thing on this planet that this lady has not researched. I buy stuff on a whim. I see a picture, I'm like, yo, that's the bomb, I'm gonna get it. She's like, did you check the reviews? Have you considered alternatives, comparables?
Guilty.
This, that. She's Googled it, she's Yahoo'd it, she's Binged it, she's called somebody, she's
I Binged it.
Isn't it Bing? Like,
but it's because I growing like I wanted to be in journalism, so I wanted to be in communications major. So I've always wanted to investigate and know more information and just make sure I had the right amount of information. So of course I
you
researched.
Like truly familiar with the procedure.
I really
didn't just jump in.
It wasn't head first. Like they even handed me a book the first time I went, and so but what really kicked off this decision is don't want to stay in this place for long, but my sister dying, 34-year-old, most people who know me know her story, but Nikki, my sister, 34 years old, mother of 3, suddenly died from an aortic dissection. Most people don't know what that is. That is where the aorta vessel instantly burst. I don't even think burst is the word. Lord Jesus.
Hey.
Instantly burst.
Yeah.
And she died suddenly with between 8 to 20 seconds. Now, mind you, when she died, we had no idea the cause of her death. But 8 weeks after, the medical examiner called mom, and of course, her researcher was on the line with her, and I was able to research, and I know it pretty much any and everything there is to know about aortic dissections because I wanted to know, what took my sister. So when she died, I went to the doctor because I had a panic attack. There's that anxiety kicking in again, and found out I was 302 pounds. And that day, I made that decision that I'm gonna get this lap band, whatever we got to do, whatever we have to do. And so I went to the surgeon, Dr. Riley. He's an awesome surgeon here in Houston. And, of course, we went through everything. They wanted to make sure it wasn't on a whim. But in the back of my head, the entire time during the process, Nikki's on my mind. Like, she's what kept me going in those stages, because I'm like, I got to do this for her. I got to get this weight off. She had 3 children. I have 2 at the time. I'm like, I want to see my babies. Her babies were all under 10. So when she passed, of course, she made sure that her family was taken care of as far as life insurance. And it wasn't a grand amount, but it was half of what I needed at the time for the surgery. So I feel like Nikki contributed to my surgery. She's helped me, change my life. And so I went and had the lap band. And basically the lap band is just this band that's placed around your stomach. You get feels, placed into your stomach with saline. It tightens around your stomach to make sure that you can't eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
And for the first
restricts your
it causes restrictions basically. So it was working out pretty well. A lot of the people that worked in the office at True Results weren't a real big fan of it. Well, and it's because they realized that it was a quick fix. They realized that the weight would pop back up because once you don't have that feel and that restriction, you can go back to eating whatever it is that you want. But I solicited a trainer, my first trainer, my sister Deanna. Shout out to D.
Hold up.
She really just kind of pushed me in the gym and fast forward the story. So I ended up getting that lap band removed after the twins were born.
Man,
and
complications?
Yeah, it was just too much up and down. You know what happened to us when we were in Baton Rouge. We went on vacation, and the thing got so doggone tight during spring break that I could not get anything down. Lost 14 pounds in less than a week. Of course, after they got that band loosened, I was able to eat everything and picked back up all that weight that I had lost. Yeah. So I knew I needed some help, and I knew I needed to get that band taken out because it was causing so many different complications.
You know what? And you know, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I'm all for losing weight. I understand that, you know, some people may need a little bit of assistance, whether it be a surgery or a trainer, or, you know, it's very difficult to do this like completely and solely on your own. Honestly, I don't think there's anything on this planet that you can truly do on your own. And whoever, no matter what type of success somebody achieves, you know, I don't care if you're all by yourself. There was some sort of unconscious contributor. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know, the great thing about this journey that I've been on is that for me, it wasn't about a quick fix. It wasn't about it being easy. I knew from the day I started this journey, I was going to have to work.
Yeah.
That was never a doubt in my mind. It wasn't like, oh, this going to make me fine, baby, sometime fine. No, it wasn't about that. For me, it was just regaining my life back. And if I benefited from that by looking 10 years younger, or if I benefited from that by being able to wear the latest fashion and still be trendy and fly and all that good, you know, good stuff, that's amazing. But I was ready to get my knees back, my back back, you know, my joy back, my kids back. Like I wasn't able to play with them. I wasn't able to do anything with them. So that's why I did this. And, you know, shout out to everybody that can go hard in the gym and can control what they eat. I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I love food. My family is just a big old Southern black family. We celebrate with food, you know, birthday parties. You know, we have the biggest shindigs. First thing my mom always asks me when I'm telling her I'm planning a party, what's going to be on the menu? Like, what we going to eat? You know,
it could be a 1-year-old birthday party.
What we going to eat, you know? We mourn with food, you know, funerals. We pack out churches and family gatherings for food, family reunions. So,
man, we even had meetings with food. Something that I heard Eric Thomas do the other day. He was like, he started switching up his meetings. He was getting ready to go on a lunch meeting, and he was like, "Hey man, let's just go for a walk." And he had his meeting.
But
like,
lunch meetings are so fun.
I know they are. I just had one today.
Yeah, you just sit and eat. You know, I still eat, guys.
You know, while you talk, let me eat.
Exactly.
And then when it's my turn to talk, you eat.
We're gonna switch this thing up. I love it, and I do that with all my friends. But you're right. Sometimes switching it up is pretty cool. But yeah, like I just, you know, I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. I knew I needed some type of restriction, but that doesn't mean that I can't. I have to control a lot.
That's what I wanted you to get to. Like this surgery, well, because you didn't even talk about the fact that you got the band removed.
Yeah, so
and then,
I got the band removed,
all
the complications and things. My surgeon totally understood. At the time I got the lap band, it was kind of fairly new. It was in 2014. It had been out for a while, but you know, of course, with anything new, it's going to have some ups and downs. It wasn't an end all. It wasn't a terrible surgery or anything like that. It was just, for me, it didn't fit my lifestyle.
Right,
so I had the lap band removed. And so while the surgeon was there, he was like, you know what, we can go ahead. And he was amazing. He explained to me what revision would look like. And that's basically doing the same thing, giving me that restriction that the lap band has, but just going ahead and taking off, I think like 80% of my stomach. So I'm left with 20% of my stomach. And I had that done after the twins were born. So I still have the restriction, but I don't have to go in once a month and get this band tightened and filled. Fluid taken
or
out.
Stuff getting caught.
Right.
Slippages.
Bread I can't eat.
So basically they took a portion of your stomach out, and now your stomach's a little smaller. You know, for us slow folk out there.
Pretty much.
But
vertical sleeve gastrectomy revision is what it's called.
I like them big words.
Yeah,
buddy. You sound sexy when
you
say them big words.
Buddy. Vertical sleeve gastrectomy.
Excuse me, y'all. But anyway, the cool thing is though, that surgery, all it did was give you a boost.
That was it.
Because what I've seen these past year is your grind. Like you probably work harder. I mean, shoot, you work harder than me sometimes, all the time, if I'm not mistaken. Like, tell me a little bit about your daily routine now, and you could even talk about what has led you to, because, I mean, it's not, right now, you're killing it. You're out there running like 3 miles a day. You're going to the gym. Like, how did you get to where you are now?
Well,
it's not like you just got the surgery and
yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not. I'm super goal oriented, and I get really bored easily. My brother Sean can definitely attest to that.
No, when she says she get bored, y'all, she got the shortest attention span on the planet.
I do. And some people joke around and call it ADHD. I absolutely do not have that at all. I just get bored. Like, I don't like to sit still. I don't like to.
She be listening.
Yeah. And I can tell you everything you've said, but I need to stand up and twiddle my thumbs and go roller skating on my daughter's hoverboard while you're talking. So,
it's a sight to see.
It really is. 'Cause like I said, I stay bored. But yeah, I needed to, stay active, and I really needed to do something different. So my workouts always are changing and evolving. So I can only tell you where I'm at right now in this place. I've ran a 5K. I did that last year. Actually, we did that together. We did that 2016 before we even, were pregnant with the twins. We did this 5K, but I was horrible at it. Like, cause I didn't really train. I did finish, but I didn't finish well. Like, I was in pain, knees hurting and everything. And 5K is a little bit over 3 miles. So I wanted to push myself a little bit, and I decided to run a 10K. So the 10K is going to actually be on Thanksgiving Day, which is the day after my birthday. So no turn up for me, of course.
Hey, we're going to turn up for that 10K.
And that's a little bit over 6 miles. So right now I'm training 5 days a week. I run, and I started off doing 60 seconds of just jogging and then 90 seconds of walking. And I kid you not, babe, like the 60 seconds, I was dead. I was like, I can't do no more. Like, it was horrible, those 60 seconds. And, after that, it would just gradually go up to 90 seconds of running and 2 minutes of walking. So now I'm up to 45 minutes of running. And I do that right now with 15 minutes of running and then a minute walk, catch my breath, then get right back on it. 15 minutes of running and then a minute walk and then one more set of 15 minutes of running. So I'm a little bit over 3 miles now, but the goal is within the next 4 to 5 weeks to get to, the 6 mile mark so that I could be race ready. But now I'm understanding that if I'm doing that 5 days a week, I'm really running 15 miles a week.
Yeah.
So for the race, I just got to get to 6. So I'm just trying to push myself a little bit at a time to get to the 6 mile mark. And then Monday nights and Wednesday nights, I meet with my trainer, LaRon. We go to 24 Hour Fitness and we kill it in the gym. And the reason why I do that is because not only am I training for this race, but I really, after losing 100 pounds, I want to continue to keep my body in shape and toned. Yeah. That loose skin is something else.
Keep that body toned.
Get that body right. Yeah. And so that's what I'm working on now. I'm just working in the gym. He pushes me really, 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 really hard. Like,
thanks, LaRon.
Yeah, like really, really hard. And I told him before we first started, I said, listen, LaRon, I'm going to roll my eyes. I'm going to say some stuff. I'm going to look at you like you're crazy, but I'm going to do it. And sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, no, it do. It do. Mm-hmm. She going to do all that. Sometimes all at the same time.
At the same time. I'm going to roll my eyes. I'm going to pop my neck. I'm going to smack my lips. I'm going to do all of that, but I'm going to get it done. And he literally says, okay, let's do a set of 20 of this or that. And, he doesn't wait on me. He said, let's go to work, And the name of his company is called I Improve. And that's definitely what I feel like I'm doing, or at least I hope I am, is improving. But
improvement. We definitely seeing some gains or some losses.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want some gains in the gym, losses on the scale, and some gains in the gym.
Well, tell me a few of the tools that you use to be successful, like as far as apps, music. I mean, your schedule. I mean, because you got to have a crazy schedule. Not only are you married to the busiest man on the planet.
Man.
But, you got 4 kids.
Yeah.
School, and 2 of them are 1.
Yeah.
You got twins. How do you stay consistent? What kind of tools are you using to, when you do get out there, and jog and, or do you like forget the tools? I just got to get out there and get it. Or what's like, how do you mornings when you don't feel like waking up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Those are a lot of those. So
every morning,
pretty much. But so I think I'm thank you God, I'm beyond that stage of the complaining of like, oh man, I got to get this workout. I know I need it. Mm-hmm. So that's number one. Like this determination, it's in overdrive now. Even when I don't want to do it, like right now, you and I know I'm sitting up here with a bum foot, and people don't realize, man, when your foot is acting up, it affects your entire body. Like, it's affecting my hip, my back. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I should be singing my neck, my back. Like, it's really
Maybe
bad.
later.
It's really
saying.
bad, man. The pain. But I'm pushing through. But, you know, their drive has to be, you know, really, really strong. So I would say that's the first tool, is just this mental drive that I have. The second tool is probably the most important, and that's you. Like, your ability. You call it paying it forward because of the sacrifices that I make sometimes. I just call it, you've been an amazing husband. You know,
I ain't pay her to say that, y'all.
no, he really didn't. He'll tell you straight up, you can't pay me to say nothing if the price is right. But no, but seriously, you know, a lot of people don't know this. Not only do you run your own company, but you're so great around the house with the kids and with the family life. You know, of course, it's not perfect, but you definitely help me out in so many areas. And one of those areas being where our schedule is so tight. I remember coming to you, I think it was like the summertime, and saying, listen, we got to get our schedule tight. Like, we can't slip up on it. We got to keep our schedule together. And you were like, I got you. And the next thing I know, I'm getting an email from you. You're so formal with me sometimes. It's hilarious. Like, sometimes we're husband and wife, and then we're business partners.
Writing.
Yeah, and it's so formal. Like, you could have just texted, but you like went to DJS's, you know, webpage and emailed me, you know, this itinerary.
Like.
Yeah, and I was just like, why is he getting so serious with me? But anyway, you sent me this message, and it was like, this is my schedule. How does this look? Does this work for you? So I made sure I worked around that schedule. And the reason being is because your schedule to me, as far as outside of the home, is so important. I can rearrange stuff in the home. You know, it's not on a time constraint. So you letting me work around that schedule, and you being so generous to me in that capacity, has been a blessing, because it gives me no excuses. Like, every morning, Monday through Friday, when the kids go to school, I take them to school. Then I go straight to the park. The park is right across the street from their school. If I wanted to walk there, I could. That's how close it is. And I do what I have to do. I work out. And not only that, you don't allow me to be burnt out. Be like, okay, babe, after your workout, you got to hurry and get home. I have a couple of hours to just sit there. You know, if I just want to pray, read my Bible, read a book, you know, play on my phone, do whatever it is I want to do, go shopping.
Most of the time she go, you know, do something productive.
I do. But sometimes if I don't want to, I have that freedom.
Yeah.
So I don't feel rushed to hurry up and get back home. But then you take over to go to work and to do everything you have to do by a certain time. So I'm so thankful for that. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays, you and I work out a deal, you know, where you have the kids. So that's number 2. It was definitely schedule. So drive, schedule. The music and the apps are huge. So the app that I'm using to run the 10K is C2 10K. So that's basically couch to 10K. So
from couch potato
to a 10K runner. That's what the goal is. And so that app is incredible. Also,
basically what you're saying is, if you just do it, like
yeah,
you follow the instructions,
that they give you. They tell you begin running.
It ain't gonna kill you.
No, they'll say begin running. You begin running. They say start walking. You start walking. It's really that simple.
As long as you can follow instructions, you can lose weight.
Can you hear me now? That's all you got to do. And then when I wasn't working out with LaRon, he has a program for people that are like virtual, you know, trainees and things like that. So, you know, I would just screenshot whatever the workout was for week 1 through 4, and I would do it. If it was HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, cardio, or upper body, lower body, whatever he had me do, I just do it. I'm not naturally like an obedient person, because I kind of want to do my own thing. But when it comes to goals and stuff like that, and knowing that there's like a prize or reward, yeah, you can bet I'm gonna do what they tell me to do. So that's pretty much what it is. It is what it is. Yeah.
Hey, it's working though, man. It literally is working, man. Tell me this though. What's it like being married to the coolest guy on the planet?
I wouldn't know until I find him. I'm just playing.
You have to throw that plug. Now you ain't got to answer that, man. I just want to throw you for a loop.
No, I can answer that. Like, it's really cool being married to you. No, seriously, it really is. Asked me that like 4 years ago, I'd have been like, get me out.
Freedom.
Yeah. I was like trying to find any exit door. But every time I would open
seriously, she really was. Like, she was accusing me of random stuff.
You lying.
She was like...
I didn't accuse you of nothing. I was just trying to leave because you don't have it all together. You unwrap too tight. You still ain't. Some screws still loose. But no, seriously, like, we gel so well together. And so sometimes you got to go back to why you got married and why you got with the person. And that main reason was because you're really cool. Like, I know people that, you know, sometimes people come up to me and they'll be like, oh, Dave's the flyest white guy I know, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, Dave's just fly. Like, you know the story. When we were at the hospital with me one time, that nurse was like, oh, you into white guys? And I was like, no, I'm into Dave.
Oh.
You know, like, that's because you're just you, and you fit with pretty much any group in any setting that you're in. You just gel, and you love my family. They
So what you're
absolutely
saying
love
is
you.
white guys wasn't on the radar before I jumped into the picture?
No, shout out to all my vanilla brothers, but no. I mean, Channing Tatum is hot,
Hold on.
No, you know.
I'm about to cut the
No,
mic.
you know.
Wait a minute.
No, but no, seriously, like, no, I love me a brother. Yes,
You mean used to?
No, I still love the brothers. Still got mad love for the brothers.
Hey, but they not up in his house though.
No, they not. But I still got mad love for the brothers. I mean, my daddy a brother, my brother a brother, my brother-in-law's his brothers. I got mad love for the brothers.
I just kind of snuck in there.
Black men stand up.
I ain't tripping. So anyway, that's what's. Y'all should see me over here blushing.
Yeah, he kind of red.
It's all good though. I want to know what it's like with these kids though. Did you? I mean, when we got married, you always said you wanted 4 kids, but did you think it would be this tough?
You know what? When you are a child and when you don't have children, you think you know everything about children because you've been around them your whole life, and your sister got kids and your cousin got kids and you're the babysitter and all that kind of stuff. It ain't nothing like having your own kids. It is a different kind of hard though.
Man, there ain't no formula.
No,
it's not like
the crazy
if you
thing
do
is
X, Y, Z,
no,
then they gonna turn out like this.
Nope. You can do everything absolutely right, and you can still have a little serial killer in your hand. Lord, please don't let that be us. But and the thing is, what is right? Right is kind of relative because you can go about. People will say, Christians will say, you raise your children according to the word of God, which is absolutely true, which is something that you and I definitely practice. But at the same time, it's a real world out there, and everything you teach them ain't sticking. And so I say that real hood, but anyway, I would definitely say the hardest part for me is just this mommy guilt.
Ooh,
this mommy guilt.
See, I didn't even know you was gonna go there.
It's real.
That's deep.
It's absolutely real. It's realer than the difficult nights. It's harder than the baby's waking up in the middle of the night, or I'm not even gonna lie. There have been nights I've been asleep and I've woken up to a child throwing up on me. And that is just the worst smell, worst feeling, worst everything. But you got to suck it up at that time, and you just got to do what you got to do. You got to get the 409, you got to get the Lysol, you got to just handle your business, get the Clorox and all that good stuff. That's hard, yeah. But nothing is harder than feeling like, am I doing the right thing?
Ooh,
am I raising these little monsters to be productive citizens? Because, most people don't remember you raising these children, but one day they're going to grow up to be adults, and the world will have to deal with them. And that's what I think about all the time. I always think about my childhood and how amazing my parents were. And I just always want to make sure I'm doing right by my babies. So to me,
because there's no, like I said, you can't really quantify it,
right?
And say, okay, today I put in 8 hours. I invested 8 hours into my children.
That's enough.
I contributed X amount of dollars, and so I'm good for the day. No,
right.
It's just like you literally give 100% to your kids day in and day out.
Yep,
and you hope for the best. Man, so your dad's a pastor, right?
No, yeah. I mean, like,
he's like the pastor. Like, I don't, boys be running around here talking about bishop, apostle, this or that. Like, Dr. B's so cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And, people come to him for advice. Like, I name drop all the time. Like, if you don't know Ricky Bradshaw,
why you think I went by Bradshaw for the longest? Even when we were married, like, I didn't want nobody to know my name was Dylan Settle. Like, I wanted to be Dylan Bradshaw. He's awesome.
That name does open up doors, though.
Yeah,
like, I
especially
name
in the Christian realm. Yeah.
So, okay, Dad's a pastor. It was very frightening. It took me a long time to ask you out because I was like, yo, that's the pastor's daughter. She's untouchable. I couldn't possibly talk to her. Is the whole PK thing for real? Like, the whole PK stereotype, like you wilding out? Can we go there? Like, I just want to know
a little bit. We're gonna push it a little bit.
So you was a little ratchet before ratchet was a thing.
I'm still ratchet around the house with you. You know how I get around these parts. No, I'm for real. No, you know what? The PK thing is really real. There's a lot of pressure on pastors' kids, and my heart breaks for them sometimes, but at the same time, my heart leaps for them because they get to experience Christ in a new way, if they allow it to be. if they allow the Holy Spirit to really do what he does. But yeah, it's real because, not just to put too much of my business out there in these streets, two of my sisters had, kids before they were married. And like my dad was preaching a kind of not necessarily against, that, but we really are pro abstinence and not, we don't believe in wrap it up. We just believe you don't not be doing it unless that's your husband, and he's preaching these messages and he's talking about this and he's praying for people whose kids are going through the same situation. And he's telling other leaders that, if your household is not right, and all the while he's dealing with these issues in his house. And, people didn't take it very well. They pointed fingers at us. And even some of the things that I did, not that I was just like out in these streets, like off of Bissonnette, like doing my thing or nothing.
Oh,
but
Bissonnette was good.
I like that Papa's barbecue over there though.
Southwest.
But, yes. But there were still parts of my life that were not, godly, hitting up the clubs and stuff like that as underage with my siblings and stuff, and just kind of wilding out in our own little way doing.
Because I wasn't saved. Like, we lived in the clubs.
Right, and it was okay for you. Like, I think we talked about that the other day about that little roller rink or something, the Z or something. Like, y'all.
Shout out to the Z.
Yeah, like y'all were able to go there and stay out all night. No, brother, we didn't go to no Z. Like, we had to go to the church house. That's about the only place we went, for revivals and prayer meetings and all that stuff. So for people to, I guess what I'm trying to say is people began to see the real us without the shiny stage lights and stuff. And so when they didn't like what they saw. So they kind of took it out on our parents. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they took it out on us too. And so church PKs, they experience a lot. They have to see when the church people leave the church, people talk about, there are people still in these streets right now who are saying some very hurtful things about my dad and my mom. And, I wouldn't necessarily say I tolerate it, but because my parents, have set such a good example of what leadership looks like, I don't, because trust me, I want to pick up the phone and be like, yo,
we can go there.
Yo.
But the only reason why I brought that up is because I wanted to hear your take. But we all know that it's a huge generalization. It's not like every single pastor's child is out there wilding out.
No, but
Everybody's
they have struggles
different,
just like
but it's the pressure, right?
Yeah, it's just like everybody else. They have struggles just like you had struggles growing up. I had struggles. Every person does, but I'm not going to compare being a pastor's kid to being the president's child, but on that same level there's a spotlight on them. And whether they want it there or not,
and a huge expectation, very, very
huge. And it's not an expectation that sometimes is set by the parents. Sometimes it is a huge expectation on them, but sometimes it's an expectation that's unspoken. Like, they don't even know that that's expected of them. And so they have to be someone that they don't even know they're supposed to be. So then you got a lot of PKs that are dealing with identity issues. Man, that's a whole nother podcast, a whole nother radio show, a whole nother book.
Identity.
Yeah, identity in the church,
Jeez, just identity, period. Knowing who you are and self-awareness. Anyway, that eventually led you to becoming the worship leader, which I believe is your true passion. You're not just your career and what you do, but I get the pleasure of experiencing worship with you and calling you my worship leader.
It's fun, huh?
Man, it's live.
It's fun working together. It really is.
What we do is, I like to think it's pretty unique. Yeah. The people I talk to, that when I tell them that I DJ at church, they be like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Like, there ain't no band? Like, what's good? Like, you DJ? And I'm like, yeah, man. Like, we bring out some turntables and mix it up. And my wife, she kills it. But, I think there's something very unique about what you do versus, somebody who gets up there and performs. What's the difference? Like, what's a worship leader versus somebody who can just has the talent to sing? And
man, a worship leader is somebody that worships and then they lead. Like, I know this sounds so stupid, but I'm being so for real.
Just keep it real.
I'm keeping it real simple because a lot of times people feel like you have to be qualified, which you do. There are some qualifications and some training and things like that. You should. I feel
like you should be able to hold a tone. Like,
at least, and you should be able to know how to pray.
Yeah,
and be like, Father God, Father God. Like,
I ain't asking you to do 1,000,001 runs.
Right. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm really grateful that as a worship leader, I'm not a singer. I'm a worshiper. Yeah. So I know how to sing, but that's not what I do. I I'm not there to perform. I'm not there. And sometimes when I get asked to perform, whether or not it'll be at a wedding or a function or a church service, I'm always so uncomfortable because I'm like, this is not what I do. I just want to worship. I just want to extol and exalt God.
Yeah.
So it's that audience of one thing that our pastor dad has, been teaching us for the past, 15 years. It's just you and him. And I took an amazing course from a pastor here in Houston, and it basically was this really great book that taught about how, as a worship leader, my relationship with Christ is vertical between he and I, but then it should be able to translate horizontally between me and his people so that I can take them vertical back to Christ. So
that's so cool because, a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes stuff. They may think that, we have X amount of songs prior to beginning worship, and we planned it out this whole week because we live together or whatever the case may be. 9 times out of 10, we
it's changed.
Yeah. Or we may start off with, hey, we're gonna do these 4 songs,
Yeah.
and then in the middle of worship, you like, hey, switch it up real quick,
man. But you know what? When you work together with someone as long as we have and as well as we have, I have to give it to you. You are hands down one of the best at it. Like, I can say a certain word, and when I nod and say that same word, you pick up on the lyric of the song. And you are the worst when it comes to song lyrics. But when it comes to worship, you get it. Like, I don't know if it's because of the familiarity of the songs or what it is, but when I tell you, you get it, I'll just say, there's nobody greater than our God. And all I hear is, nobody greater.
Okay, but what's hard, though, is you could be in the middle of a prayer, and there are so many, like, not necessarily cliches. Phrases.
Yeah.
And you'll say a phrase that'll be for a song, but you're not necessarily saying that phrase.
So your mind is like,
so I'm like, does she want me to play this song? Like, is she ready? But I'll have it ready
queued
just
up.
in case.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Have it queued.
But what I love about what you do, man, is you literally lead us into worship. You don't just sing the songs. You don't just, there'll be times where you'll have me loop an instrumental, and I don't know if it's because you feel the Spirit leading you or it comes out of your prayer time or what. I don't know where it comes from, but you literally like start preaching and no joke, like start to deliver a word that impacts so many in such a powerful way, like including myself. I'm like, so like to me, that's that distinction, that's that difference that I see coming from you.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly could say I am privileged, I'm blessed to do what I do, because when I first started leading worship and I would speak, it wasn't spirit-led, it was just my thoughts. And now I just live my life, and I don't ask God to give me something for Sunday. Whatever he gives me and whatever I share in worship, it's just from my life. So if I'm impacting or blessing somebody, I'm just doing it because it's just who I am.
Yeah.
An imperfect person striving to meet the mark, even though I know that I'm going to miss the mark, but I know who my creator is, and I know that he loves me and he forgives me, and there's nothing I can do that can separate me from his love, which is what allows me to continue to lead worship even in my failures and my errors. Because, man, if you start thinking about all the ways how wrong you are, and you start thinking about how undeserving you are of this position or this moment, and you start thinking about,
true.
Yeah, but if you start let that thing get to you,
like,
I mean, if that's the case, we'd all be walking around here.
Nobody would be qualified.
Right. We'd all be sad all day long because you'll never be good enough to measure up to what Christ did for us. Like, you'll never measure up to that. So every day I walk in humility. Every day I try to walk in, just total awe of his presence. Like, God, you didn't have to bless me with this gift. You didn't have to bless me with anything, but I thank you for it. And because you did, I'm going to, bless you now.
Man, walking in his grace is the only thing that sustains.
Yeah.
Before we duck out, there's a chapter in this book that I wrote.
You wrote a book?
Yeah, I wrote a book.
What's it called?
It's called Metamorphosis.
How do I get it?
I think you should have a copy next to your nightstand.
I'm trying to help you sell some copies.
I'm just saying. Well, for those of you who don't have a copy next to your nightstand, you can go on to Amazon, type in Metamorphosis, David Settle. It's very easy. You can find it on Amazon. If you can Google it, you can find it. But anyway, there's this chapter in the book. It's called Action, and I talk about our kids, and I reference you in that book because there's a lot of spiritual applications and faith stuff in the book about you
it's a
gotta
lot.
pray, you have humility, all this stuff, which are good things. I think the church, they get the spiritual stuff very well. Oftentimes we focus too much on the spiritual stuff in absence of the actual like hardcore practicality stuff. Like you actually got to do something now.
Right.
Faith without works is dead.
Right.
So this last chapter was like a testament to that idea. And so I referenced you because once we had the twins, we became like a circus act. Anytime we go out in public, it's like, oh my gosh, you have twins. Oh, or what's the most annoying one? Are they twins?
And my response, no, they're triplets, but I left the ugly one at home.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but people always stop and stare.
Yeah.
And one of the,
'Cause they're so cute.
I know they are cute, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Like those some cute little kids. So cute. But out of all the questions that we get asked, the most that sticks out, or the one that sticks out the most, is how do you do it?
Yeah.
And your response, it never leaves me, is always
You just do it.
Nike. Like
just
literally
do it.
You just do it. And tell me a little bit about that.
Honestly, there ain't even nothing I can really say about that. But I can, because I can talk. No, but seriously, like you just do it. When we found out we were having twins, we didn't even give ourselves an opportunity to think that far in advance about what life would be like with them. We just really wanted a safe and healthy pregnancy. So by the time they came, it was like, okay, now they're here. Like the pregnancy, we made it. Like it was rough, but we made it. 38 weeks, here we are now with these two beautiful babies. What do we do? And that thing just came in, and you just do it. And those first couple of weeks, man, baby, they were a whirlwind. We had some amazing friends.
No, not weeks, like months. Like it was
yeah,
like
but I
2
mean
months
those first. So we basically had help for 4 weeks.
Right.
Remember?
Right. Yeah.
And
Mama was coming and staying over.
Man,
and
you are loved when my dad comes and lays on the sofa and spends the night watching the Rockets game, eating some gumbo, and then he's like, and he's really, to be quite honest, man, Dad didn't really help with the twins. He just said he missed my mama. So
yeah.
But shout out to Daddy for sleeping on my sofa and holding it down.
I don't know what it is though, man. Like Dr. B's so cool. Just having him in the house though.
Wasn't it a good feeling?
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like he could beat up the bad guys. I don't know.
Like this is a big dude. Like
yeah, he's so cool though. So like having him here and having Mom here, man, again, you're loved when my brother came through.
And you know what else too? Like even if they didn't do anything, which they did a tremendous amount, but knowing that somebody else is there.
Right.
I don't know what that feeling does to you. Like even if you're doing everything and you know what I'm saying, you're doing it on your own, but knowing that if something happened, you have
I'm not
help.
alone.
It's right there.
That's the reason why I was able to just do it, is because when they left, that's where I was going, getting to, is that after that amazing help was here, there were times where I would come downstairs and, from a nap and be like, okay, guys, what do you need me to do? And I would look, the laundry was done. My brother or my older sister was here. Deetha was here. Or Ricky was here, and they had the baby. Deanna would come on our lunch break and come sit with the babies. Some of my closest friends would come and they would have meals prepared. Like I had, meals for the whole week. And so when it would get time for me to do something, it wouldn't be nothing for me to do. So when they left, guess what? We had to go to work.
Man, hardcore.
So it not only did it just make me grateful for the help that we had, it just reminded me that when you're in this thing alone, you just do it. Yeah. There's no thought. Like our babies had to eat. And, I just remember being like, with the other two kids, I never woke up at a nighttime feeding because I felt like a horrible mom. But I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be like, where's the baby? And you'd be like, babe, I've already fed the baby, go back to sleep.
Hey man, I was working all day long. I felt bad, like I couldn't be there during the day. I was like, the least I could do is let you get a good night's sleep.
Babe, you were the real MVP for them first two kids. Second, the third pregnancy, I couldn't even.
Yeah, I couldn't help you on that one.
Yeah.
Like, it's two babies. I'm like, you waking up
you
with me.
You got to get up. Yeah. So I just had to just do it. But then there were times where, like, I would wake up and you'd be like, oh, one baby was going to sleep. I don't know if you remember this, but you'd be like, one baby's going to sleep. I'm going to go ahead and feed the other baby for you. And I did. And I'd be like, but I didn't get a chance to help. And so in just doing it, people need to understand that God sends timely words. He sends timely help, and he sends timely messages for you when you need it. But all you got to do is just be obedient and just do it.
Yeah.
It's not, okay, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to have an attitude about it, or I'm not going to be happy about it. No, you do it. You have a servant's heart. You do whatever it is that God has called you to do, and just know when you need him, he always shows up. You know, he has always been our second win. He's been our first win too. But more importantly, when we felt like there were times when we couldn't do it, when we felt like, how are we going to make this thing happen? When you're just doing it and you're just following and you're being obedient, he always comes through.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I never seen the righteous forsaken nor a seed begging for bread. Like we've never gone without. And I'm not just talking about financially. I'm just saying even mentally and emotionally.
Man, that's a big part right there.
There been times, babe, we've been like, man,
I'm ready to clock out.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Done.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have no more in me to give to these kids. I don't have no more to give to this business that we're running. I have no more to give to my church family as I lead them in worship. And it's like supernaturally, the Holy Spirit just kind of comes in and he just gives you this second wind. Mm-hmm. And then you realize, man, and that's when I start telling people, it wasn't me. It was all God. That's not a churchy answer. No, that's like real talk. It really wasn't me. It was all him. So when you just do it, you need to know that God is on your side. He's looking out for you, and he going to give you that second win.
Most definitely, man.
I thank him for it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times we think we have to have it all together. Everything, we got to have a miraculous plan or this or that.
Yeah.
And sometimes we use those things as crutches or excuses to prevent us from doing anything.
Right.
And honestly, you know, I don't have all the answers. And the thing is, with the twins, what they taught me, it's like, they gonna cry until you do something.
Right.
I don't have time to think, oh, this or that or this. I hear them crying. I get up. I don't care how much sleep I got the previous night. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care what else I have going on. I could be in the middle of lunch or in the middle of working on something. It's like, no, you just do it. Mm-hmm. And you know, same thing with writing a book and all the other stuff. It's like, you know, publisher, what? Like, I ain't got no publisher. I can't afford for this or afford for that. You just do it.
That's what
work out. You just do it.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what has helped me in this journey is the fact that this weight loss process that I've been going on, this you know, metamorphosis that I've been experiencing, it has not, when you allow the Lord to change you, he doesn't just change one area of your life. It totally changes who you are as a person. So this weight loss journey that I've been on, that didn't just change me as, you know, a person that was overweight. Like now I have a determination because I was like, man, if I could lose 100 and something pounds, I can do a lot more than I think I can. I can finish school, you know, I can raise my children, I can be the best mom. Like, you know, dog tired, but we'll still find a way to read that book to the kids at night, or we'll still find a way to, you know, rock one of the babies to sleep, or, you know, do whatever it is that we have to do, like plan a party or do whatever it is that you and I do on a daily basis. The fact that I was able to overcome such a huge challenge, changed my whole mindset. So what people need to know, and it's just not being, you know, not plugging metamorphosis or anything, but that's something that book blesses you, and it helps you understand that transformation and change is not one-sided. Mm-hmm. It transforms everything about you. And that's what I think I'm most proud of and most excited for in this next journey of my life, is just seeing how everything around me changes because I made this decision to change.
Yeah. So what is next? Like what's really good for the fine, fabulous Queen Dalez?
Oh, man.
I like the F's though, the faith, family, fitness,
and fashion.
Come on with it. So what's next on the horizon?
So I'm going to start working on a blog really soon, and it does incorporate those F's: faith, fashion, fitness, and family. It's a lifestyle blog. It's not just for women, but it is, you know, targeted and geared towards women and young girls that are just trying to find their way and to say, hey, listen, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to show you what I have found out, and I'm going to show you the stuff I'm still learning. So I'm going that route. I'm doing that blog. What else I got going on? Man, I always seem like I have so much going on. I am in school.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I'm like, I am in school.
You had the audacity to go back to school.
I know. What is wrong with me? I told you, every time I start doing stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with me? But I love it.
I feel like you can conquer the world now.
I really do. And I love it. Yes, I'm going back to school. I'm getting my degree to be a teacher. And hopefully I'll be able to use that. I really want to be in administration in schools. So
yeah,
I do have experience with teaching already. So I want to use that experience and see where it takes me. Just kind
love
of
it.
want to be close to my kids and
Yeah.
you know, their education process. So that's pretty much. Oh, of course, you know, consistently leading worship, trying to build that. The biggest thing I really want to start working on soon is an album, Portuguese album.
Come on.
That's a whole nother topic. People are probably like, why Portuguese?
Yeah.
But if you follow me on Instagram at Queen Dalez, QueenDalez, shortly you'll see a little bit more about that. And you can also catch my fitness journey on there too.
Oh yeah, definitely check out the fitness journey. So many people have been blessed by it, from regular day folk all the way up to nice, cool, famous people. I see you got some famous friends on Instagram.
Yeah, you know,
got
I
me
do
kind of jealous.
pop
I be
my
like-
imaginary collar.
I be trying to ride her coattail, y'all. She be getting these famous friends. I be like, man, make sure you pass out the DJS cards.
And I'm like, no. They're not here for you, groupie. They're here for me.
yeah, man. But I appreciate you hanging
Flips
out
hair.
with me.
Yeah.
What you about to go do now, man?
Work on my blog.
No, I'm talking about like right now.
Work on my blog. No, seriously.
No.
Like, I have my laptop out. I'm going to eat. Like, we just got some Chinese food. We about,
That's
we about to tear it up. We about to eat. What else we about to do?
I was gonna go to sleep.
No, you know what I need you to do? Seriously. So I need you to help check, you know, my measurements for my weight, my
Oh,
journey.
yeah.
So
Here we
I measure like every 4 to 6 weeks to kind of see, you know, how far I've gone. Because sometimes it's hard to see your transformation. So you got to measure. So I wear the same thing that I wore like 60 pounds ago. And then we're going to measure and see. So I can't measure myself. So I need your help to do that. And so that's what you're going to do.
Measure the success.
Yeah. Oh, that's a word.
Hey.
Come on, give God a hand clap of praise on that one. That is a word.
Man, well, that's a wrap, y'all. We might have to break this one up into 2.
Or
But
just
no,
like delete over. Just
I know, right? But anyway, Queen Dalez in the building. Dave the DJ.
in my DJ's voice. Yeah. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that was pretty
Cool.
close. That was pretty close. All right, let's get it.
We out.
You are now tuned in to Metamorphosis. The power to change. Your source for inspiration, motivation, transformation, and change. Let's get it.